we take you to the ANC in Johannesburg, which says almost all disputes have been resolved ahead of this weekend's regional conference. The Johannesburg conference has been delayed for numerous reasons, including the death of regional chairperson candidate and former mayor Mpho Moerane. The conference will be held from Friday in Midrand, with registration starting tomorrow. Our reporter Mbali Thethani is following the story and joins us in studio to give us more. Mbali, good afternoon. I suppose, judging from the Ekurhuleni ANC conference, I mean, the expectations heading to this one are really, I can't think of anything more than disputes, battle lines, and a lot of complaints. What are some of the expectations?
Of course, Mpho, we have seen, when you look at, the previous conferences which have been held by the ANC, they were marred by numerous delays because of the disputes which have been raised by a number of the delegates. But of course, we've seen the ANC in Johannesburg, of course, conducting that briefing a bit earlier on today, just ironing out, saying that as the RTT, which is meant to take the Johannesburg region to a conference, they've indeed now sat for a meeting and they've ironed out all those issues. And of course, we know that they have been dealing with disputes, because we have seen this conference being postponed twice. And you're certainly right, they were also dealing with the death of the former Johannesburg mayor, Mpho Moerane. But at the same time, Mpho, they were dealing with the disputes, and they are saying that their last branch is expected to rerun tomorrow. So they are saying that indeed they want all their branches to indeed iron out these issues when it comes to the disputes, so that they can indeed go ahead and have that conference, which is expected to sit this coming weekend. Of course, it is starting on Friday. But you know that when it comes to the conferences of the ANC, one can, when it comes to the ANC, they're saying that this conference will not be marred by any disruptions, because they're saying that they are a very calm region. And in the past, they've never really experienced any problems when it comes to conferences. But just let's take a listen to what they had to say when it comes to how they have been addressing some of their challenges and also addressing some of their disputes. Let's take a listen to Dada Morero.
You find that Ward 37, for example, was disrupted at least twice in an attempt when they tried to convene. Now the matter was then escalated as part of the appeals, and we then resolved that the branch should reconvene. The region, of course, will ensure that there's enough security, and those comrades that are alleged to have disrupted the branch will therefore be called to order. And if they attempt to continue to do so, we will then subject them to a necessary process of discipline. So those branches will then be supported. The other three, Ward 23, it was as a result of the audit verification, which indicated that the branch did not really form quorum as required by the guidelines, and the branch will therefore be rerunning today to ensure that there's proper quorum and everything that needs to be done in that meeting is done in accordance to the guidelines. Ward 102 was also a dispute around the guidelines, and the branch was therefore reordered to rerun, which it did rerun on Sunday. So basically what we're waiting for is Ward 23 and Ward 37.
Of course, Mpho, that is Dada Morero, who is from the ANC in Johannesburg. But at the same time, we know that we are expecting, of course, those delegates to be making their way. But one thing which is quite interesting, you would know that going into the ANC in Johannesburg, we had those two slates going into this conference. It was the slate of Mpho Moerane, who was also expected to run for chairperson. But we now know, and we have seen posters making the rounds, that it will be indeed Eunice who will now then, of course, be replacing Mpho Moerane for chairperson in this region on the one slate. At the same time, we know that Dada Morero is also vying for that position of chairperson in this specific conference. So we can clearly see now that those battle lines have indeed been drawn. But at the same time, let's take a listen to what the ANC in Johannesburg had to say when it comes to how many delegates they are expecting to participate in this conference.
We are expecting a total of 300 voting delegates. However, this is on the proviso that the branches that I've referred to that are reconvening today and tomorrow are also successful. If they are not successful, you will then have to minus at least 2 or 3 delegates from the total of this 300, and then we will then announce the final. But at this stage, confirming to the principle of 90-10, we're looking at a total of 300 delegates, with the leagues being allocated 3 voting delegates each. However, would be allocated them 5 delegates to conference, with 2 of the 5 being non-voting delegates, and the alliance structures will also be allocated 5 non-voting delegates who will form part of the conference. Business and those that support us will be allocated at least 5 delegates to 10 delegates at conference as guests of conference, and of course we'll also allocate space for the media that will be there to cover all our open sessions.
Okay, let's leave it there for now, Mbali. We hope it will be all smooth sailing. They say they're a calm branch, so we'll just have to see what happens come Friday.